1875, a girl named Jeanne Calment was born in the quaint town of Alès, France. It was a period when automobiles and airplanes had not yet come into existence, and people relied on horse-drawn carriages for travel. Homes were illuminated by candles. At that time, no one could have imagined that this girl would go on to make history, living a remarkably long life that would shatter all world records. In 1889, when Louise was just 14, the Eiffel Tower was inaugurated in Paris. Fast forward to 1896, when Louise married at the age of 21, just as the great inventor Nikola Tesla began his work in America. Interestingly, Tesla was only 18 years older than Louise. Before we embark on our journey, be sure to hit that subscribe button and activate the notification bell to become a part of our growing community. You won't want to miss the upcoming tips on how to enjoy a long, healthy, and vibrant life. Jump to 1914, when Louise was 39, living contentedly with her husband and daughter. A massive explosion reverberated across Europe. World War I had begun. By 1934, as Hitler was rising to power in Germany, Louise faced a personal tragedy when her daughter succumbed to a lung infection at the age of 59. At this age, many women are already grandmothers, yet Louise herself could never have fathomed that her life was still far from over. In 1942, as World War II raged across Europe, millions lost their lives and families were torn apart. Louise faced loss as well. At 64, she lost her husband. In 1945, World War II concluded, and the world began to rebuild. Louise was 70 years old, unknowingly witnessing the pages of history being rewritten. During her lifetime, horses were replaced by cars, and candles gave way to electricity. In 1969, as she celebrated her 94th birthday, humans landed on the moon, marking a monumental achievement. By 1985, Ronald Reagan became the first U.S. president to visit the Soviet Union, and by then, Louise was 110 years old. Though she had lived independently until that point, she eventually moved to a nursing home. In 1988, the world finally began to take notice of Louise, and she became a topic of conversation everywhere, gaining recognition as the oldest living person. In 1997, at the age of 122, Louise passed away just as the digital age was emerging. Jeanne Calment surpassed all expectations, setting a record that remains unbroken to this day. What was the secret behind her remarkable longevity? What contributed to her long life? Let's explore this in today's video. The first thought that might cross your mind is that luck certainly played a role. Indeed, if you wish to live for 122 years, a fair amount of luck is essential. However, the real question is, to what extent does luck influence longevity, and how much is attributed to lifestyle choices? Between 1870 and 1900, scientific studies on twins were conducted in Denmark, analyzing over 2,800 twins to investigate the impact of genetics, lifestyle, and environment on longevity. This research became known as the renowned Danish twin study. The findings indicated that an average person's lifespan is determined 20% by genetics and 80% by lifestyle and environmental factors. This means that factors like dietary choices, exercise, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle significantly affect longevity. So what lifestyle choices contribute to a long life? Perhaps the best way to uncover this is through reverse research, examining the lifestyles of those who have already lived long lives. In the early 2000s, Dan Buettner, an explorer and author working with National Geographic, set out to study regions of the world where people enjoy the longest lifespans. In 2003, he partnered with anthropologists, historians, dietitians, and geneticists to complete this mission. Using population data, they identified areas with the highest numbers of centenarians, individuals who have reached the age of 100. Around this time, others were also investigating similar phenomena, such as a research paper published in the Journal of Experimental Gerontology, which identified the region of Sardinia in Italy as having the highest concentration of male centenarians. Villages with the most centenarians were marked with blue circles on the map, coining the term Blue Zone. Simultaneously, Dan Buettner discovered another location, Okinawa, Japan, home to the longest disability-free life expectancy in the world. He and his team embarked on an expedition to these regions to understand the factors contributing to such longevity. The team of scientists and demographers identified 5 blue zones across the globe. The first was Sardinia in Italy, followed by Okinawa in Japan. The third was the Loma Linda community in California, comprised of Seventh-day Adventists. a religious group within Christianity. The fourth was Icaria in Greece, and the fifth was the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. Residents of these 5 blue zones tend to live longer than the global average. What makes these locations so unique? Could it be the pristine water and air, or the lifestyle choices of their inhabitants? Dan and his team dedicated years to uncovering the truth. Finally, their findings revealed that the key factor was the lifestyle habits of the people living there. Specifically, they identified 9 lifestyle habits common among these communities, termed the Power 9. Let's explore these habits one by one so you can adopt them in your own life and extend your lifespan. The first lifestyle habit is to move naturally. Elderly individuals in blue zones don't frequent gyms or lift heavy weights. Rather, their environments promote regular natural movements throughout the day. For instance, many live in villages where car usage is minimal. When they want to visit friends or go to work, they often walk. Additionally, they tend to cultivate gardens near their homes, engaging in physical activity while tending to them. In contrast, in the modern world, most people spend their days sitting at home or in their cars, only to return to sedentary activities like watching movies. Natural walking has become increasingly rare in our contemporary lifestyle. A survey by the American Cancer Society involving over 125,000 adults discovered that those who sit for more than 6 hours daily have a 19% higher risk of dying within the next 21 years. The likelihood of various diseases, cancer, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, kidney disease, and neurodegenerative disorders, increases with prolonged sitting. Numerous studies have illustrated this correlation. One recent study indicated that walking for just 11 minutes daily can reduce the risk of premature death by 25%. In blue zones, natural walking is far more prevalent. Incorporating more natural movement into your daily routine will undoubtedly yield benefits. Walking primarily engages specific leg muscles, but it's equally important to utilize all muscle groups in the body. In Okinawa, for example, homes are often sparsely furnished, and instead of dining at tables, people sit on the floor to eat. What's the advantage of this? It requires them to rise and lower themselves multiple times a day, promoting natural movement. The fundamental principle is to integrate natural movements into daily activities as much as possible. Consider opting for a standing desk instead of a conventional one, or try eating on the floor rather than at a table. In many parts of India, this has traditionally been the norm. Instead of relying solely on cars, make an effort to cycle or walk when possible. The second point is purpose. Dan's research found that in Okinawa, the concept of retirement is virtually non-existent. Instead, there exists a Japanese principle known as Ikigai, which translates to a reason for being. This reflects a sense of purpose in life. When individuals in Japan reach 90 to 100 years old, they don't retire and withdraw from life. Rather, they seek their Ikigai. A similar notion exists in Costa Rica's blue zone, referred to as Plan de Vida, which means life plan. Dan's research indicated that having a sense of purpose could extend life expectancy by up to 7 years. Interestingly, fulfilling one's purpose doesn't have to involve grand gestures that change the world. Activities that bring you long-lasting satisfaction and joy, like volunteering, mastering an art, or pursuing a cherished hobby, can also serve as your purpose. The third point is downshifting. We all recognize that stress is detrimental to our health. But did you know that chronic stress, the kind you endure over long periods, can have severe consequences? A Yale study revealed that prolonged stress can accelerate aging. Numerous studies consistently show that chronic stress heightens the risk of heart attacks, diabetes, and cancer. Almost every age-related disease has a stress-related component. One study indicated that work-related stress could shorten your life by up to 33 years. So what's the secret to combating stress? In blue zones, residents engage in practices that promote relaxation. Whether it's taking a siesta in the afternoon, practicing meditation, or participating in prayer, they prioritize stress reduction. Find out what activity can help you de-stress: yoga, exercise, deep breathing, or spending time in nature. The fourth habit is the 80% rule, which is all about eating until you're 80% full. In Japan, they refer to this practice as hara hachibu. Research indicates that people in blue zones consume 20% fewer calories than those in the US. However, they don't count calories or restrict their diets. Instead, they naturally eat less by following this rule. Take time to chew your food slowly and savor every bite. Consider that Americans eat quickly, often while multitasking. Studies reveal that fast eaters consume more calories than slow eaters. Moreover, fast eaters tend to consume more food overall, as they fail to recognize their fullness cues. By eating more mindfully, you can easily cut down on your overall calorie intake. Eating in a relaxed environment, free from distractions, is a great way to facilitate this process. The fifth lifestyle habit is to eat mostly plants. In blue zones, residents primarily consume a plant-based diet, with meat serving as an accompaniment rather than the main focus. Many have meat only a few times a month, and as a result, their diets are rich in vegetables, legumes, and whole grains. On the contrary, diets in many parts of the US tend to be meat-heavy, with large portions of red meat and processed foods. Research indicates that those who follow a primarily plant-based diet have a significantly lower risk of heart disease, stroke, and certain cancers. The sixth habit is to drink in moderation. Studies reveal that moderate drinkers tend to live longer than heavy drinkers or abstainers. Many blue zones cultures emphasize social connections through shared meals and drinks. In Sardinia, for instance, it's common for residents to consume wine made from locally grown grapes. However, moderation is key. Aim for 1 to 2 drinks per day, preferably in the context of social gatherings. The seventh point is family first. Research indicates that individuals who prioritize family and relationships experience a higher quality of life. People in blue zones often live in multi-generational households, supporting one another. Residents actively engage with family members and prioritize relationships, leading to a greater sense of belonging. The eighth habit is to belong. People in blue zones maintain a strong sense of belonging by being part of a community or a spiritual group. Being connected to a group provides individuals with a support system and a sense of purpose. Research has consistently shown that people who engage in community and social activities enjoy better health and longevity than those who are isolated. The ninth lifestyle habit is to have the right outlook. Maintaining a positive outlook on life is essential for overall well-being. Research indicates that people who practice gratitude, mindfulness, and self-compassion tend to live longer and healthier lives. The best part? These practices are easy to adopt and can be integrated into your daily routine. These 9 lifestyle habits, derived from the wisdom of those living in blue zones, hold the key to unlocking longevity and well-being. By embracing these practices in our own lives, we can work towards not only extending our years, but also enhancing the quality of our lives. Remember, it's not just about the number of candles on the cake. It's about the experiences, relationships, and joy we gather along the way. Thank you for tuning in.